America's Next Top Model is Eva. This is so unreal.
John Johnson. Congratulations, you just won a $100,000 contract with IMG Models.
Especially in recent times, we see racially ambiguous models so much more. It takes that element of ambiguity and kind of plays it up. And that kind of, I think, adds to their sex appeal and this like wonderment and curiosity about them, which I think helps sell the product too. I think it's a pretty smart tool that these companies use because I think it gets people to look at their product, it gets people to wonder about their models.
When the average monoracial person looks at a multiracial model, more specifically an ethnically ambiguous model, they don't necessarily think of a cultural group. So, for example, if I look at an ad and I see someone who is obviously black, this is going to make me think of certain characterizations, no matter where I am on the racial spectrum in America. As an advertiser, you cannot control what someone's perceptions of blackness are when they look at your ad. But if you can pick someone who's ethnically ambiguous, then you're ensuring that you have the most control over your image because the person probably doesn't know where to place this person. They're going to think, I can fully engage with this product in this ad because it's a safe space, because it's a neutral space, because it's not loaded with any political or cultural connotations.
I think that the ad makers assume primarily a white consumer audience. So what they're doing is they're connecting a character who could be white, who could be you, therefore, the consumer, with someone non-white who has that erotic charge that goes with non-whiteness, or in the case of a man, the physical power that goes with non-whiteness, like you and unlike you. And by buying the product, you connect with this thing which is beyond yourself, which is desirable and which you want. That's why I think ambiguous rather than a black character per se, an Asian character per se.
I think the media uses them because people are intrigued by them. And it's the same thing. You look at a model and you try to figure out what race she is, and you can't figure it out. And you keep looking at her, and it just pulls you in more and more. And the models that people look at the most, I mean, those are considered the most beautiful then.
There is a myth and a widely held belief, and one of the racial beliefs that I think has been least criticized and attacked since a new racial era has emerged, which is that mixed race children are particularly beautiful, mixed race people are particularly good looking, that they bring together somehow the best of both races physically.
You know, it's like you're so good looking that it's almost too perfect.
Part of it stems from the idea of the sexualization of mixed race people. And mixed race people are particularly sexualized, I think, and viewed as sexual beings because their very presence is usually a sign of illicit sex, or was a sign of illicit sex. Now their parents might be married, but up until the 1950s, chances were that mixed race people were much more likely the product of sex that was not seen as legitimate, not coming out of a marriage. And I think that has rebounded on them to some extent, so that just seeing them, they seem more sexualized.
Mixed people, depending on the context of where they grew up, tend to hear things like, oh, you're so beautiful, or you're so exotic. I feel like that just comes with the territory. You're all from Hawaii, you're all from like Caribbean islands type of beauty that you can't pinpoint.
The media projects the image that mixed people should look exotic. And based on that, people, I guess, stereotype mixed people and think that they should look exotic because the media tells them that.
Eva has an unusual look that I see more of right now.
I've been called exotic looking or beautiful because I look exotic a few times, mostly by men. You know, I think I've had people ask me, oh, what are you? You have this exotic look about you. You have this exotic beauty. It makes you feel like people just view you. I mean, especially if it's coming from the opposite sex, as if you're, you know, a sex object or something that people can look at for their own personal gratification. I've definitely experienced that.
In fact, instead of feeling exotified, I feel objectified. You're taking people and you're making them like objects, and you're making them like sellable marketing things.
Presenting the totally new 340 horsepower Chrysler 300C. The moment you see it is the moment you want it.
Back when I was younger and I was like grappling with my identity, those types of compliments made me feel special because I was like, oh, I am exotic. Like, I should embrace this side of me because people are reacting positively to it. But I think now I take those compliments not as compliments. What does it really mean to be exotic?